Hello there and welcome back to 4 Times That Podcast. You join us at 10 past 10 on the 27th of October. It is Monday night and I know we were just with you yesterday, but we're not back for an extended Fall Cup preview. We're back after the shock announcement about half an hour ago that Brendan Rodgers has resigned from his position as Celtic manager. I'll just read you a bit of the statement. It says Celtic Football Club can confirm that football manager Brendan Rodgers has today tendered his resignation and it has been accepted by the club, and Brendan will leave his role with immediate effect. There's a few paragraphs and then it finishes off by saying that we're pleased that during this interim period, former Celtic manager Martin O'Neill and former Celtic player Sean Maloney have agreed to take charge of Celtic first team matters. Further details will be confirmed shortly. So it's full house as you would expect for this episode. Tony, I'll come to you first. We never seen this coming maybe 6 months ago when Rodgers came back for his second spell. He says the only way he would leave if he was emptied. He's no lasted the 3 years this time and he has left. We spoke last night and thought there was no way he'd be away, especially this soon before a semi-final and that. What's your immediate thoughts to the news?
Well, you probably haven't seen this, but I've just been sent it. There's been a statement released for that stupid old bastard that calls his seller owner, or our major shareholder, whatever you want to call him, the silly bastard that's always playing golf, opposed to actually doing anything that's Celtic related. Let me read it out. Brendan Rodgers has today tendered his resignation as manager of Celtic Football Club. I want to acknowledge Brendan's contribution across his 2 spells as manager, during which he helped deliver success that forms part of the club's modern history. However, I must also express my deep disappointment at the way the past several months have folded. Just to know, I've not actually read this, but here we go. When we brought Brendan back to Celtic 2 years ago, it was done with complete trust and belief in his ability to lead the club into a new era of sustained success. Unfortunately, his conduct and communication in recent months have not reflected that trust. Oh no, wait to hear what I'm going to say about this stupid old bastard once I'm done reading this. In June, both Michael Nicholson and I expressed to Brendan that we were keen to offer him a contract extension to reaffirm the club's full backing and long-term commitment to him. He says he would need to think about it and revert. Yet in subsequent press conferences, Brendan implied that the club had made no commitment to offer him a contract. That was simply untrue. We met with Brendan regularly, including in December last year and at the start of the summer, with regular dialogue in between to discuss and agree our collective strategy, priorities and approach. Every player signed and every player sold during his tenure was done so with Brendan's full knowledge, approval and endorsement. Any insinuation otherwise is absolutely false. I ain't bother, you stupid old cunt. His later public statements about transfers and club operations came entirely out of the blue. At no point prior to those remarks had he raised any such concerns with me, Michael, or any member of the board or executive team. In reality, he was given final say over all football matters and was consistently backed in the recruitment process, including record investments in players he personally identified and approved. Right. When his comments were made publicly, I sought to address him directly. Brendan and I met for over 3 hours at his home in Scotland to discuss the issue. Despite ample opportunity, he was unable to identify a single instance where the club had obstructed or failed to support him. The facts did not match his public narrative. This is fucking incredible reading for this stupid old bastard. Regrettably, his words and actions since then have been dismissive, misleading and self-serving. They have contributed to a toxic atmosphere around the club and fuelled hostility towards members of the executive team and the board. Some of the abuse directed at them and at their families has been entirely unwarranted and unacceptable. Aye, nae bother, you silly old cunt. Every member of the board and executive team is deeply passionate, oh my God, about Celtic and acts at all times with professionalism, integrity and a shared desire for success. What has failed recently was not due to our structure or model, but to one individual's desire for self-preservation at the expense of others. This is outrageous. Celtic's structure, where the manager oversees football, the chief executive manages operations and the board provides oversight, has served the club with great success for more than 2 decades. We all share the same ambition to ensure Celtic's continued success domestically and achieve further progress in Europe. Every pound generated by the club is reinvested towards those goals and the continuous improvement of Celtic Football Club. Celtic is greater than any one person. Our focus is now on restoring harmony, strengthening the squad and continuing to build a club worthy of its values, traditions and supporters. Now, if I says, and I nearly let slip the last episode what I think of Dermot Desmond, and I says, I hope that he leaves the club, I think most people probably go, that I meant something else. That stands. I mean, that's quite an incredible statement for a guy who couldn't give one flying fuck about Celtic. I mean, I met Brendan for 3 hours. I mean, who gives a fuck? Like, that is insulting again. Every pound generated by the club is reinvested. We've got 77 million in the bank and an absolute heap of shite on the park. If anybody's buying this, and I said it the last episode, that they were going to use Rodgers to try and get away from this mess. He was the perfect manager for these horrible cunts on the board to shield them for the fans, and they can just pin all the blame on him. If you're buying this, you're off your head. This is absolutely scandalous for a group of people who don't care about Celtic, who rinse the fans, who hate the fans, who ban the fans, who are not fucking fans. This is absolute garbage for these people. And look, people didn't like Rodgers, fine, he's gone. All your attention should be on the people that have ensured we've got Donovan, Murray, Scales, Yang, Ralston, a squad full of fucking garbage playing. That's not in the manager. The manager wanted good players. This board couldn't deliver it. Just incredible. I'm glad Brendan's resigning. Good on him. Who the fuck would want to work for a stupid club? Who would want to work under a guy whose main thing in life is golf? No Celtic. Don't values of Celtic. What the fuck does Dermot Desmond know about the values of Celtic? He's talking about continued European success. All we've had is continued doings, continued embarrassments. Well, he's fucked off to play golf with Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods. I tell you, son, I hope he double bogeys every hole the rest of his life, this silly old cunt. I don't know how many times I've said that in the first kind of 5-10 minutes here. I mean, it's just truly a mess. And to just kind of not take any responsibility. Everything's on Brendan. It's all about Brendan and Brendan's words. And it's just absolute nonsense. I hope Brendan comes out and tells his side of the story, and I hope he fucks every one of them under the bus. And just that whole thing, as if Brendan's the reason for the collective. People have had problems with you, Dermot, long before Brendan comes back. Don't you worry about that and your stupid fucking board. Don't worry. We had enough issues and enough concerns about your mob long before Brendan returned. He was unable to identify a single instance where the club had obstructed or failed to support him. I don't know, maybe when he's sold either, when he asked his naughty, would that not be you obstructing him? I was going to say I'm speechless. I'm obviously not. I'm obviously just ranting and raving like a lunatic. But I think we get what we deserve. I think Brendan will go on and have a good career, and I wish him all the very best. I really do. And I don't care what anybody thinks, to be honest. That's my opinion. Without him, there's no double treble, quadruple treble, 5-1s, 5-0s. Last year, yeah, it's been disappointing. But he leaves without losing a league title. And that'll do me. Brendan Rodgers never lost a league title. However, the wee guy who's best pals with Boydie, wee Lennon, he lost 2, and he couldn't wait to get on the Sky yesterday and stick the boot into Sutton and back up his mate Boydie. So fuck him as well. But aye, just symbolic. I mean, this is kind of chucking the season ticket stuff for me. Like, I just don't really want to be associated with this. I think it's a club that's just a total mess. A club that's self-destructed when it didn't need to. They should have made sure Rodgers signed a new contract, and then they should have moved on and got him back. I mean, just that statement there for Dermot Desmond. Who the fuck's he to be releasing statements? This guy's got 30-odd% of the shares, apparently. I mean, he's the last person I want to hear from. When your manager's decided that it's that untenable that he's walked out. Just that disgrace of a guy to have at Celtic. Lawwell, disgrace of a guy. Nicholson, just useless. I didn't think he probably is a nice wee guy, but he's in the Rang movie, that guy. The guy Mackay, he looks shot to bits as well. Again, probably a good kind of CFO somewhere else, but he's in the Rang movie as well. They two, I don't actually want to go in too hard as him. I think they're just kind of, well, puppets in a string, to be totally honest. But this needs to be kind of upped. I said tenfold, 100-fold in terms of getting these people removed. A lot of them need to go. He needs to sell his shares, Desmond. Need to get him away, get his son away, get them all away from us. I mean, you look across at Hearts and their owner, Tony Bloom, with his analytics, and then you look at this fucking bowling club we've got. I mean, just totally embarrassing stuff. But I'm just astounded, to be honest. I'm glad Rodgers resigned, because now everybody can just turn in the boat, hopefully, and I hope the protests ramp up. Some of the abuse directed at them and at their families has been entirely unwarranted and unacceptable. Just to let everybody know, nobody should be abusing the board member's family. If you want to shout at them to get to fuck, that is entirely warranted and entirely acceptable, let me tell you that, and that's putting it mildly. But it's some way for it to end for Brendan, basically responsible for the quadruple treble, had one of our best seasons in Europe with him last season. Nobody will ever match his derby record, despite the last ones being quite poor. But No surprise for Celtic. Self-destruct. Maybe they'll bring out more Adidas merch. Martin O'Neill. Adidas merch. Martin O'Neill's the manager. I was listening to him talking on Talksport this morning. So maybe we've just seen Barry Ferguson beat Rodgers. Maybe we'll go and get somebody that's off the radio. Just a stupid club, to be honest. There's nothing nice I can say about Celtic at the moment, apart from the fans will no doubt stick by it and try and get us somewhere. But I think all bets are off. I think we could easily lose on Wednesday now. Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney, the atmosphere I hope will be absolutely toxic towards the board, even though none of it's their fault, never is. Obviously Desmond, he'll not be anywhere near it. He'll be teeing off somewhere, obviously probably talking about the values of Celtic and how important it is. Aye, fucking right. And then Sunday against Rangers, fuck, take your pick. Rangers, I think 31 to 10 the last time I looked. Fuck, I wouldn't put anybody off that price. I says the wheels might come off. The wheels are halfway down London Road, as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, my son's still up, so this is quite late at night, so that's why I've went first, so that I can drop off. But in conclusion, the board should be hounded peacefully. Took all my mind to actually put that bit in there, to be fair, after the news. Peacefully hounded to leave the club with immediate effect. At every opportunity, their families should be left alone. Absolutely. No one should be abusing their families. I totally reject that notion. But I think the fans should be waiting on these people entering the stadium to peacefully let them know what they think. I think the fans should let them know what they think while they're in the stadium and when they're leaving. And that should be every game until these people get to fuck. So that would be my hope for that. It's quite an incredible night. Brendan says he'd 100% be here, but it's obviously got to the stage where he just couldn't be. And in fact, look, we'll see how good Brendan is. I'm sure he'll get a job down south, no bother. He's away for this club. I don't think he should have come back in the first place. He's probably regretting it. He's probably at a higher level than Celtic, let's be honest. But well, somebody commented on YouTube, you got what you wanted, Tony. I says I wanted him to resign, and he did. And I really hope now that all the fans just turn on this board and really ramp it up. And for that stupid old cunt again to be saying that, what was it he says? He says we should, I don't know, he was rambling nonsense. At least we know who wrote the statement back when the transfer window ended. And to back up his model, Tony Bloom fucks and fucking shits all over your model, you daft bastard. You've got a model for golf, you've not got one model for football. Apart from that, I'm looking forward to Wednesday. But good to see the fans hopefully give these bastards both barrels of abuse peacefully.
Aye, it'll be. I'm amazed at what's happened. I don't know what it's going to be like on Wednesday. I'm a bit like you. I was planning on going on Wednesday. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to go, if I'm going to go and protest. I've fucking not got any clue. Danny, I'll come to you. We all wanted the Hollywood ending of Brendan leaving with another title. As Tony said, he's left without losing a title. He'll be remembered as a Celtic manager who left with a great record, and look, it's turned into a fucking horror movie this season rather than the Hollywood ending. What's your immediate thoughts on this? It's obviously, we weren't formed as a podcast. It ultimately did lead to us forming as a podcast when he left the first spell, but now we're back live reacting. It's sort of come full circle to Rodgers leaving midway through a season again.
On a Monday night. It's always a fucking Monday. I stunned. I did say if they beat him, if we get beat next week, they might sack him. They've sacked him. You can read the tendered resignation all you want. Look at that statement for Desmond. That's a fucking tooling. It's too fitted with the ball. That's a burying. He's buried Rodgers, and it strikes me that Celtic are getting the word out early. They've sacked him, they've emptied him, or if he has resigned, they're getting their ducks in a row early because Brendan's obviously going to come out and talk about it. Just wild. That statement for Desmond is absolutely fucking wild. It's like pouring petrol into a fucking volcano. It's fucking wild. And for him to come out with most of it, he's basically blaming Rodgers for all the stuff that's been on with the board. Rodgers' conduct. Rodgers is, for all his faults and his ego and he left the first time and all that, Rodgers' conduct's been fucking exemplary as a Celtic manager. Certainly the second time he's come back, they've treated him like shite for 3 years, or 2 and a bit. You know, the utter shite transfer windows. One transfer window out of it, 5, has been somewhat successful, and that was all done in the final seconds of the final day. The way they treated him when he came back, they had him out of a barrel because he said he came back to repair his relationship with supporters. They signed him fucking duds for across Asia, Europe, you fucking name it, where he could find a diddy. We found plenty for Rodgers. His team, he galvanised the team. We went on to win the league and the cup double. with his signings and Ida. You know, that was obviously a fucking speed dial job late in the window. You get Ida in, Ida was brilliant, then they go and sign him. Didn't quite work out, but he still scored 20 goals last year. I'm gutted. I'm really gutted. I had a lot of time for Rodgers, everybody knows that. I still thought he would turn it around. And I'm angry. I'm really angry at that statement for Desmond. To even call Rodgers' conduct into question is a fucking disgrace, considering what's happened over the summer. He's been left completely hung out to dry, and do you know what? That fucking Neil Lennon's comments yesterday on Sky all make sense now. They've stitched Rodgers up. He's our most successful modern day manager, and they've fucking stitched him up. And he's been stitched up by fucking Desmond and his cronies, and now we're staring down the barrel of serving up Martin O'Neill to Danny Rowe, and it's fucking disgusting. A 73-year-old man who last managed 6 years ago, not very successfully. Really great guy, great manager for his probably one of the most important figures in Celtic's modern day history. Like, we're not the club that we are today without Martin O'Neill coming in and giving us a bit of swagger back, but that was 25 years ago. He left Celtic 20 years ago in a bit of a state. He had a great managerial career at Villa after that, done great with Ireland, but we're talking 10 odd years ago now, and he's coming in with Maloney, who by all accounts is a great coach, but his managerial spells haven't been up to much. And we're getting into a very important game next week. We've got a fucking important game on Wednesday night. I don't know. I'm just disgusted at the way this is all played out. I'm gutted how it's played out for Rodgers. He deserved a lot better than that. And a man who had us going toe to toe with the German champions, a fucking slide tackle away for extra time when anything can happen, to 6 months later or so, or just over 6 months later, emptied out the door and his conduct called into question because he's no fucking taking the dismantling of his very successful side too easily. It's a joke, and like Tony said, these protests have now, it's game on now as far as I'm concerned. They've come out and blamed Rodgers for it. It's time the fans come out and show them that, right, you've got rid of your shield. Rodgers was shielding them for a lot. Fans had turned on Rodgers. It's an easy out for the board to make. It's time that the fans now, you know, because you can hardly... Martin O'Neill comes in and loses every game. What the fuck are you going to do? You can't go after him because he's coming into the situation. So the board, there's no shield for the board now, and I hope they know all about it come Wednesday night, because this can't go on. Like, they've emptied the manager and they've got a double act in within an hour, and you know, I bet you Dunfermline will be looking for a manager very soon as well, and then that draws up all these fucking possibilities. Folk claiming for Ange to come back, like, does a favour. Like, honestly, he comes in, starts winning games, all of a sudden everybody's fucking happy. The board, pressure's off the board. Like, it's just until he fucks off again and then you're back in this. No, fuck that. It's almost the white flag on the season, and the only thing it's made me say almost is 5 years ago they had an opportunity to do this to Neil Lennon and take him out the firing line, and they've not done it. And I think you said it, Dan, because of the protest and that, and the throwing sharks or whatever it was at the players. But a defiance for the board. Well, they've went another way now. So maybe the season still can be salvaged into something successful. But to me, it's a bit of a white flag. And fuck knows where we go for here. Like, I've not even gave the fucking notion of the next manager even any thought. I was gutted. I was quite upset when I heard about Brendan and Tony reading that statement. Just angered me. So I don't know where we go. I don't even know. Like, because Kennedy and Strachan they're nowhere to be seen in the statement, but the statement said it's Maloney and O'Neill. So is Martin O'Neill the caretaker? Is Maloney his assistant? Is it the other way about? Is Maloney the manager and O'Neill some sort of de facto director of football? Is it a Kenny Dalglish, John Barnes situation? Who the fuck knows? Because all they really wanted to tell us tonight was that Rodgers is away. These two are coming in. And by the way, it's Rodgers' fucking fault for everything. That's all they wanted to tell us. Everything else is as clear as mud.
Absolutely, as you say, everything's sort of developing as we come on. We started recording, and I think Tony was right. He was the first one to see that statement from Desmond, which is a fucking disgrace. I can't believe he's getting the fucking face to come out and say that, and I think he pretty much just putting his name to that statement that came out after the transfer window as well. Andy, what's your thoughts on it? I know you were in the ways yesterday, so excuse me if I don't ask for your thoughts on the Hearts result, because I think things have just overshadowed it in the last hour or so.
Aye, totally. I genuinely don't know. I don't even know what's going through my head with it all, to be honest. Completely fucking scun up with this club. Just tap to bottom. Aye, to be honest, I'm in two minds, and to be honest, I just really fucking hope and pray that fans see this for what it is. They see that fucking idiot Desmond trying to empty the manager and get in two-footed is exactly what it is. It's trying to save face. It's trying to get out ahead of the storm. Fucking oldest trick in the book, and I really hope and pray that fans see right through it. And I can see if people weren't on board with this, weren't up for this by now, or before rather. If they weren't up for it before, then fuck me, I don't know what else it's going to take after this. And just don't Martin O'Neill taking it. Listen, I'm not going to get into a debate about Martin O'Neill and whatever else, but again, what I hope people see is this is a shield. They have picked a shield to put in front of themselves. They won't go Lennon because, for obvious reasons, people have seen through his shite. Their next option was Martin O'Neill. That's all they've done here because they probably couldn't get anybody else that would be willing to step in that position. That's a shield, and they're praying and hoping, and to be honest, I can see it for as far as it's going to come, that O'Neill's going to come out with some shite and reel out the lines about how we need to be united and protest we need to stop and whatever else. And I hope that people just don't fucking listen to it because they don't deserve it. They deserve to be fucking hounded. And that's all this is. This is their last play. They're throwing the shield up, batting down the hatches, and hope that they can get through this with Martin O'Neill. And again, whatever happens here, all the spotlight needs to be on them. To be honest, I said it to you, just as the news broke, the first thing that came to my head is they're hoping that O'Neill can get a trophy and then they'll hand it out to Maloney at the end of the season. I can fucking see a complete mile off. And it's the sort of short-sighted fucking nepotism, absolute scandalous running in this football club that puts us in these cycles of fucking mediocrity. Martin O'Neill has no business being anywhere near the Celtic dugout unless he's walking fucking past it to unveil a flag and Flag Day. That's it. The guy is, as I think Danny, I don't even know fucking year he was last in football. 10 plus years has been said, and his last few jobs weren't great. But let's face it. Let's talk actual football. He's a dinosaur now. Football has moved on. It's not going to work. Nothing will work in that aspect. But as I say, they're hoping that there's an emotional attachment there for people and that he'll come out with stuff and the club will come out with stuff about unity and all this other shite. It needs to go out the window. People need to see through it and see it for what it is. I'm completely scared. That's just the only way I can put it just now. And just when you think the club can't surprise you anymore, they go and do something like this, and it's not even just letting them go. It's Desmond coming out with that shite after it, which tells me they know for a fact there's some home truths coming for Rodgers. And listen, see, whatever you think of Rodgers, right? Whether you think he's the best manager we could get, whether you think he's a fucking arsehole or that, whatever else, whether you think he should never have been back, this all comes back to the exact same thing that we have been banging on about for fucking long enough. These people hired him. So whatever you think, these same people hired him. And these same people are now the reason that he's leaving. If Dermot Desmond has come out and totally fucking shredding apart Brendan Rodgers' character, totally shredding apart, basically calling him a fucking liar, calling his bluff, saying all this stuff, right? Dermot Desmond hired him before. Brendan Rodgers was the manager at Celtic for a number of years, very successfully before, and we hired him again. Now, if you're telling me that this has came as a surprise to you, that tells me you're obviously not really dealing with him. You obviously didn't know who you were hiring because now Desmond's come out as almost if he's surprised that this is who Rodgers is. So if we're to believe that, then again, is that just your negligence? What caused you to hire a guy who has all these fucking issues with his character, who has all these issues with the runs at the club, who has all these issues, who can't get on, who's lied to you, who's fucking all smoke and mirrors? If this is who that is and we're supposed to believe that, why the fuck did you hire him again? If that's the case, that why are we now basically in November before he's been made to leave the club? Why are we now only hearing for you with all this shite? Like, are we supposed to believe that? I just fucking hope and pray that people see through this bullshit and they don't just, as I say, lap up that O'Neill's going to be in the dugout and some of the shite that he, the club, and whoever else are going to wheel out and come out with about unity and about going forward and all the rest of it. Like, these people need fucking hounded out because they hate us. They believe that they know best. All they see is, I'm on a fucking gravy train here, and if we can get these fucking idiots to shut up and put somebody who many consider a legend, or whatever you fuck you want to call it, in the dugout, we'll buy ourselves some more time, and things will dissipate, things will calm down, we'll maybe get a trophy, and we'll buy ourselves some more time. That's all they hope here. They have got no forward thinking. I honestly wouldn't fucking trust them to do anything. And the same, if it's even a hint at the end of the season that it's Ange, people need to see through that as well, because it's just the exact same fucking tactic. But aye, Dan, if you can't hear it, I'm just totally scunnered. Like, it's been a fucking difficult season on the park, off the park, everything. It's just so fucking mentally taxing, knowing that any penny put in any way to this club goes to these fucking idiots. That these guys are the people who are profiting off the top of everybody else here. They prey on every single one of the fans' loyalties, whether it's fucking season tickets, fucking 1,400 kits a season, fucking DVDs and whatever it might be, fucking key rings and fuck knows what else that they sell in that shop. They prey on it. They prey on the loyalty. They pray that we'll fucking release this, and but do you know what? Fans will lap it up. Fuck it, we'll get Tierney out today a wee model of the new stuff, because everybody's pissed off. But everybody loves a local hero, and all this fucking nonsense, and they prey on it. And I genuinely can't believe that this is where we're at now, and it's honestly like the team's a mess, the club's a mess, the fucking management staff's a mess, the boardroom's a mess, the main stand's a mess, the house stand's a mess. Like, there's no a fucking single bit of this club that in any way, shape or form is where it should or where it needs to be. And the protest just needs to fucking ramp up through the roof. Like, if people didn't see it before, and we're trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, and if they just didn't like the manager and all the rest of the shit, like, it just needs to ramp up. People really need to push for change here and push these people out, because they don't have, they're no fans. They don't give a flying fuck. It's profit over all else. It's how do we maximise our fucking earnings and our profit over everything else, and fuck what the fans think, because what do they know? But aye, Dan, just totally scunnered is the only fucking word I can use to describe how I'm feeling now.
Aye, I'm a mix of scunnered and angry. I just can't believe it like that. I think as it played out, the Scotsman says that Celtic were looking for caretakers, and then about 20 minutes later it was confirmed on the Celtic website. It's quite unbelievable the way it's played out. The fact that they've not had the balls to come out and sack him as well is quite beyond me. It just shows I don't think they can do anything right. I don't think they know how to sack managers. But I just can't believe it's got to this. Like, when Brendan came back, I was buzzing. I was there for his first press conference back. I'm delighted with what he was saying, what he had seen changes in the club, but nothing's changed. See, well, these fucking idiots, these poisonous, cancerous individuals are at the top of your club, namely Dermot Desmond, Peter Lawwell, other ones like that. You've got stooges on the board as well, who are just sort of puppets that do what they're told. As long as they're there, we will not progress. Like, Dermot Desmond thinks anybody that's reading that statement is a fucking idiot. They think they're completely oblivious to what's going on, and the fact that he says that every penny that comes in the club's reinvested, well, it's clearly no. That should be a standout line from that, and I don't think anybody believes that. Like, it makes zero sense what he's saying. He's saying shit like, oh, we never stood in the way of any Brendan's targets, and he couldn't give us an example of a time that we didn't do it. I think, why in your mind, Rodgers, when you want better players brought in, especially when he was out calling for them and talking about how we need to do things quicker, etc. Brendan Rodgers came in, and he took our Ange, and Ange won a treble, great football. But people forget, because we were so stupid to fucking hire our now chairman's stupid idiot of a son to run our recruitment team, we had a couple of disastrous transfer windows in the last few days of Ange, and Brendan was left with the sort of remains of that team. And yet, a year and a half later, he had built it with some investment the next year. He had built it to a team that got us relatively safely through the Champions League phase. Look, we didn't need it in doing it at Aston Villa, and we then gave one of the proudest performances I've ever seen from a Celtic team against Bayern Munich away, and we were that close to taking them to extra time, and we spoke about it recently as well. We were poor finishing away from putting them out in the 90 minutes. And then the 6 months since that, including the January when he sold Kyogo, etc., you've just gave Rodgers no chance to succeed at Celtic, and the way that we've done it it disgusts me. Desmond has to go. I'm not interested in the League Cup or the Scottish Cup or the Europa League this season. the main prize I want Celtic to win this season is to get rid of the Desmonds and the Lawwells. I don't want anybody with that surname involved in our club. They need to be gone. Now that Rodgers is out the way, I agree it probably became a bit of a distraction just because half the support didn't want him there anyway. They didn't hide it. The second anything went wrong, they were happy to jump on his throat. And look, yous have got what yous want. And the certain people they've been telling us that everything's just Rodgers football, it's side to side, it's boring. Well, there you go. You've got your modern manager, Martin O'Neill, and we should win every game from now because you've been telling us it's not the squad, it's the issue, it's not the utter shite that we were fucking left with after 3 terrible transfer windows. That's not the problem. It was Rodgers that was the problem. So let's see. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I think it's along the same lines of the people that wanted rid of guys like Nicholas Kuhn and Adam Eder. They're probably the same people who wanted rid of Brendan Rodgers. Well, there you go, you've got rid of him. Good luck to you. And I hope the fact that the statement says he's resigned, I hope Rodgers, he's welcome to come on this podcast or any podcast or just stand on the Celtic way, buy a ticket for the Falkirk game and stand on the Celtic way, and you can tell us, like, it'd be worth melling any trophy you brought to Celtic, Brendan, if you come out and you expose everything these dinosaurs at our club have done. The fact that Dermot Desmond's even get the cheek to say we strive to progress in Europe. Dermot, I'm sorry, but fucking it's over 20 years since we won a knockout tie in Europe. Funnily enough, that's about the same amount of time that you had your main crony Peter Lawwell and the CEO position and then in the chairman position. It's no coincidence that we've done fuck all in Europe since you've been, you're not our owner, but you act like it, and a lot of people think that you're a de facto owner, so you need to go. The one thing you did get right at the end of your statement was saying that no one individual's bigger than Celtic. Well, that's right, but I'm afraid that includes you, and like, it's, I don't know where we go from here. I think you've brought in Martin O'Neill, who 8 hours ago was on TalkSport saying that he's tipping Hearts for the league. There you go, that'll cheer the players up tomorrow when they go in and they know that guy that's standing on the touchline watching them train, he was on radio yesterday saying that he fancies Hearts to fucking go and topple yous. And then you've got Sean Maloney, who was given some fucking made up role in the summer, clearly just they're looking to wheel him in the same way they wheeled Nicholson in. He's weaseled his way up the chain, and they're hoping to do that with Maloney, because why else would a failed Wigan manager, a failed Hibs manager, why would they ever be in contention for the Celtic job? But it's clear to me that they want O'Neill to have a sort of semi-successful interim period, and then they can get to Sean Maloney, because the thing as well, this is how snaky the Celtic board and the Old Pals Act is. Lennon's got it, right? But he's been out batting for the board for weeks, so I think this has been on the offing. Paul Lambert's been out backing the board. I was speaking to somebody the other day who was saying that they were at a night with John Hartson recently, and he was saying that O'Neill was coming in after Rodgers. Now, that's a bit of coincidence that so many of the Seville team were well aware that this was in the offing. And as I say, I think it just shows how little backbone they've got, that the fact that they've strung it out till now. If they had rather than released that fucking shambolic statement at the start of September, they should have just sacked Rodgers and says, that if he'd have come out, I still think fans would have seen through it. But if Dermot Desmond or whoever had come out in that September night, Saturday night, and come out and says, look, this is what's happened, we're going to tell the support this is our version of events and we're getting rid of you, you're banging an international break after you failed to beat one of the worst Rangers teams, it would have held more weight. But no, you've waited 2 months to the season's in fucking free fall, and now you've tried to sacrifice Rodgers, and I'm afraid people can see through it. But Tony, I know you've got something to say, so I'll let you come back in.
Yes, sorry. Luckily for me, my son's fell asleep. He's chosen some night to stay up, so I'm glad he's now conked out. I think he's had enough of the club as well, and he's only one. Sorry, I was just at a point on Michael Nicholson, but I'm just trying to find the minutes in the meeting so I can actually get the point spot on. Let me just have a quick look. Sorry, just bear with me. Sorry. The club did not accept that there is a disconnect between the board and the manager, or that the transfer policy needs a fundamental overhaul. The club did not accept that there is a disconnect between the board and the manager. So not only are they useless bastards, they're useless lying bastards. So I just wanted to touch on that, just to let every Celtic fan know, either Dermot Desmond's lying to you, or Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay are lying. Somebody's lying. I just wanted to touch on that point. I think it's very important. They're talking about getting their communication better, so somebody's lying, because Desmond's come out and says there's been a disconnect for quite a bit of time, but when Andy and the collective met the board, I don't even know if that would have been a month ago. No, it wouldn't have been. They says that they reject the notion there's a disconnect. So they're lying bastards. Like, these people, as I say, they don't care about us. They want our money and they want us to fuck off. They couldn't care less if we dropped dead tomorrow, let's be honest, as long as somebody else was there to give them the money. So I just wanted to pick up on that, because I think it's very important just to let everybody know that somebody's lying. Like, that is proven, because one person, why Desmond's releasing statements on behalf of Celtic, I don't know. Just so unprofessional. And I think the fact Rodgers resigned hopefully means he's going to tell his side of the story. But Dermot's decided to come off the golf course to put a statement out just to protect him and his stupid board. Just so unprofessional. But just sums Dermot up. Just an absolute fucking maniac, an egomaniac. Not a lot of people say that about Rodgers, but old Dermot's taking the piss. Hasn't says a word while the club's died in its arse, but then the second Rodgers resigns, he's out there using the Celtic website to release his stupid wee statement. I mean, just an absolute arsehole. As you can see, the diplomacy that I was trying to maintain, that is long out the window. And I'm actually being reserved. What I'm saying in the chats, and you can back that up, is actually a lot worse. But just incredible. I mean, and I said, the thing is, you could see this happening, because I said that in the last pod. They had the perfect manager to take the fall and throw under the bus, and Brendan was that guy. I have no doubt some fans will lap it up, but I hope the majority don't, because this board's idea of a replacement, just as well, sorry, look, this has just got to be a wild tangent. Desmond says that there's been issues since the summer, and Brendan's been making these comments for over 2 months. So they've obviously had 2 months to really, with a really great model and strategy, come up with a new manager. And they've come up with Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney. Martin O'Neill was in TalkSport this morning, bigging up Heart of Midlothian for the title. He wasn't talking about Celtic. It's quite incredible. It's just absolutely incredible that's their model that Dermot's out defending. I mean, just please sell your shares away and fucking play golf. Just go away, you fucking daft cunt. Don't know how many times I've used that word, but it's the only way to sum these people up. It saddens me a bit that Lawwell will outlive Rodgers at Celtic, but I think Rodgers will be remembered a lot more fondly than that silly old cunt. He's another silly. Everybody's a silly old cunt. Michael Nicholson, he's just useless. He's just absolutely useless. That fucking numpty. He's gonna need removed ASAP, I think. But I think, look, as you said, I think when you were saying there that a lot of the fans wanted Rodgers gone. Well, you get what you ask for. Sometimes you get what you deserve. You get Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney ahead of a semi-final versus Rangers. So we'll see how that goes. So obviously, I think Dan said that a lot of people think Brendan's issue, not the fact we're playing guys like Scales and Yang and all the other garbage, but I'm sure they'll be full of confidence as well. Hi Gaffer, nice to meet you. Seen you on the radio yesterday saying how good Hearts were and how shite we are and the lack of quality, but thanks for coming in. Just, I think funny enough, obviously, Martin, he was a legend, right? Let's not kid on about that, but he was on trashing XG and calling it a lot of rubbish. I'm sure Tony Bloom and his analytic giant company would disagree on that. So we've brought in Martin to take on Tony Bloom. And what a lift for the Teds as well, the worst Rangers team in history. They probably can't believe their luck. And people going, oh, would you rather the 49ers over Desmond? Yes, I would. How about that? I would rather the 49ers over that silly cunt, because he's out sending snipes at a manager who's won his a quadruple treble and one has never lost a league title. So yes, I would rather the fucking New York Giants, I don't care, anybody over him at this stage. The Saudis, Americans, fucking somebody save us for this nutcase, please. Somebody come and buy Dermot Desmond out so he can stop releasing statements talking absolute shite. But aye, that's Nicholson covered. Can't really be asking on about the guy Mackay. He's probably just doing as he's told. Lawwell, he's Lawwell, isn't he? Desmond's copping it, but just an absolute mess. But it's no unexpected. Like this isn't unexpected. This is obviously, remember, some of your fans think we are one of the best run clubs in the world, and this is how we act. I mean, I think some people are fucking drinking the treble very liquid. Danny, do you still think we'll win the treble?
No, without Brendan, no. Not without Brendan.
Aye, it certainly changes the equation for me as well. I think it's fucking mental. I think that's right. I'm sure in hindsight we'll look back on Rodgers' time. Look, Rodgers won 11 out of 13 trophies that he completed in both spells as Celtic manager, so I think he'll be on the right side of history. Andy, I know you were wanting to come back in with you. What you had, I know we're hitting the 45-minute mark, but it is quite an occasion again.
No, you're right. I think it's one of these things as more comes out and more time to process, and It was just when Tony mentioned there about the minutes, and these are club agreed minutes, just to sort of reaffirm that to people. The club agreed to these going out, so obviously when Tony sort of quotes that about the club just barefaced fucking lying to you, they don't believe there's a disconnect between the boardroom and the managers. I think it's also important to sort of read a bit further down the minutes and just take a wee glance at the whole tabloid news story section, where it was raised about obviously that snipe article that came against Rodgers. Now, again, we were supposed to believe that didn't happen, didn't come for the boardroom, wasn't really that important. Whatever fucking shite they want to come up with. I mean, people can go, I'll no run through and read it because I'm sure plenty of people have had a look at it already. But the crux of the matter is that they're busy enough as it is, and that we weren't supposed to believe that really came for the club. But now you've got Desmond, who apparently Disney run the show, coming out using the club website as his fucking mouthpiece, coming out and completely two-footing Brendan Rodgers. Now, is it really that much of a stretch to believe that these fucking rats in the boardroom weren't releasing wee snippets to the media, to the Sun, to a rag like the Sun, of fucking all papers? That's what makes it even worse. These are the people in control, in total fucking control, and old Daft Desmond at the very top of it, thinking he can just do what the fuck he likes, and he answers to absolutely nobody because it's his plaything. And Rodgers has stepped out of line. But that's what's happened there. Rodgers has made comments that he wanted players, and he's had the club captain on board with it. And there, even when you go back to that, when he's coming out in his statement saying tell him when he's not been backed and everything else, you've not only got Brendan Rodgers saying it that we need signings, you've got the club captain saying that we need signings. You could point to multiple ex-managers who've said the exact same fucking thing. So that's how you've no backed them. He asked you not to sell his fucking striker, and you sold his striker. There is so many fucking things you can point to where the club time and time again have not just failed Rodgers, they've not just failed Ange, they've not just failed fucking every other manager that's been there. They've also failed the fans, they've failed the club. That's it. It doesn't go any further than that. The buck stops with them. These people need removed, and it's never just been about recruitment of players. It's never just been about recruitment of managers. It's everything. I don't know how many times we need to go out, like the stadium, the fact that the office is still a fucking glorified shack. Like, the whole club, top to bottom, is a total disgrace. It is a total bin fire. And, like, it's one of these things. There's so many fans out there who are so consumed by Rangers that if this was happening to them, that this would be their entire personality talking about it. But I think, like, this has to be a proper line in the sand moment for fans here. Like, if this doesn't get you up for it, for taking the club back, for getting these fucking charlatans out, then I'm sorry, but you just shouldn't be supporting the club at this point, because you don't want what's best for them. That's as harsh as it is. That's the reality. These people have to go. They shouldn't be welcome at Celtic Park. They shouldn't be able to fucking buy a ticket at Celtic Park when this is over. And I honestly cannot believe the fucking shite that I'm reading. And again, this isn't even going to be the end of it. And again, the boys are spot on. Like, whatever you think of Martin O'Neill, he was out fucking tipping the team top of the league hearts to win the league. Like, and now you've got him in a dugout. How is he motivating fucking anybody? Like, that is just complete fucking nonsense. Total and complete nonsense. But I just hope that people are up for it here, because as I say, it has to be a line in the sand moment, Dan. Things can't just get back to normal. They can't be allowed to get away with it, and fans really need to voice their displeasure here. And to be quite frank, I don't really care what the protests are. They should be ramped up to the absolute maximum and disrupt fucking everything. These people's day-to-day jobs should become a living fucking nightmare. They should be trying to put out fires left, right and centre. So I don't think anything should be off the table if the fucking game's delayed 20 minutes. I don't quite frankly care. They should explain why that is.
Peacefully, of course.
I just don't call anybody an arsehole, because they might start greeting about it. But there you go.
Call them all arseholes. Call them arseholes at every opportunity. Tell them to get to fuck. Hopefully Wednesday is absolutely toxic. You know what? I might actually come here for a game, see if the collective are going to plan to be waiting for the board getting in and out peacefully. I'll book a flight. I'll book time off for that. So definitely that's the only thing that will get me back to Celtic Park. Apart from that, I've got no plans to get back. Well, Desmond's anywhere near it. I think I might need to chuck the season ticket and let one of the other 15 billion people that are waiting get a go at it. So I just absolutely bonkers stuff. So fuck, bring Bayern Munich. That was a good night.
Aye, fuck it, it's been some night. Danny, I'll take a quick question to you. part-time contributor KB's asked, do you not find it amazing that the fact that we've released 2 statements and Desmond's put his name to one, a minority shareholder has put his name to one, but there's no sign of a chairman or CEO on either of the statement? Do you think that's them? Do you think there could be further changes, or do you think that that's them just been spineless, horrible, shitebag bastards?
More likely the second one than the first one. Again, another big decision at Celtic that the chief executive seems to have no fucking hand in. Absolutely mind-blowing how this man is still in a job. Well, we know how he's still in a job because Big Daddy Desmond's come out and patted his lackeys in the back with that statement to Brendan about Brendan. But aye, CEO meant to be the figurehead of the club. Probably never hear from him again. But shrugged his shoulders, was it? So we'll be shrugging my shoulders at him. I fucking nae use her, just like the rest of them. And again, it's just incredible what they've done. And the stitch up on Brendan is like Andy said, it's got to be a line in the sand moment. See if they'd have come out that statement and just said, thank Brendan for all the success he's brought to the club, you know, blah, blah, blah. You could almost see folk, like we were saying, go, right, well, do you know what, you've got rid of the manager. You know, what else do you want us to do? But the statement for Desmond is total fucking inflammatory. Like, it's like a match to it. And I hope Brendan's out quick to respond to it. Because fuck having his name dragged through the mud by that fucking prick. And to think Brendan was out a couple of months ago sullying himself to tell you these folk bleed for Celtic. He's actually went to bat for them when they never fucking deserved it. And yet they're out calling his conduct into question. And that line about Celtic not being bigger than any one man, he should fucking look in the mirror when he's typing stuff like that out. The fucking cunt. He's holding his back. He's got rid of the arguably one of the best managers that we've ever had. Certainly in the state that we're in, one of the best managers that we could ever hope to have. And things haven't been great this season. But that's what happens when you fucking take 60 goals out of a team and dismantle it and try and replace it on the cheap with utter shite. And apparently these fucking players that can't play on both sides of a wing or whatever. It's just, season's been a fucking nightmare for the start. And they think this guy, they've sacked a guy who was a goalkeeping error away for his 4th actual treble, but you could credit him with the 5. And they've done this to him a couple of months later. It's a fucking joke, and they deserve, like, they deserve the abuse. They deserve fans turning up who pay good money to turn up home and away every week. How can they justify their decisions to these people? Like, how can they justify their running of the club to these people? You know, looking back and saying, oh, well, we've won this, we've won that. But look what they're doing now. Like, they're making winning. Is there any Celtic fan now that, like, I don't know, I can't speak for you three, right? But to me, I've not even thought about the season. I've not even thought about the next game. I've not even thought about the cup semi-final. It's just, what the fuck's going on tonight? Like, is there a plan for the rest of the season? You know, how long are these two going to be in interim charge? You know, are Kennedy and Strachan and Gardner leave until the next manager comes in and got to take they two back on as his assistants? I don't know. I've rabbited on, but just lastly for me, God bless Brendan, walks out, he's he'd tell Ty, he's got fucking nothing to be ashamed of. And I can't wait to hear from him soon, and hopefully puts the record straight.
I'd echo that. As I say, Brendan, he can walk with his head held high. I think, I pray that the truth gets out there. I think most people have a rough idea what's went on, and I hope he comes out and just absolutely dismantles every one of them, because they're the enemy of Celtic and they need removed and will never progress until they do. And that's sort of summed up with the fact that this is what they planned to do 5 years ago when Lennon should have got bagged, and then they showed their disdain for the support then by keeping him in a job for 5 more months, and they went back to the same plan. That's Celtic Football Club for you, looking to the future by bringing in a manager who left 20 years ago, hasn't managed for 6 years, and a failed Wigan and Hibs manager as his assistant and probably successor. But that's Celtic Football Club for you. So good luck, Brendan. Thank you for everything you've done. As we say, you'll always be welcome on Full Times That podcast. You gave us some of the best moments in our Celtic supporting lives, and I'm sure you'll be a success wherever you go. We'll be back, who knows when we recorded last night and released today. I didn't think we'd be back tonight, but we were, so who knows, maybe if Martin's not too busy on Talk Sport tomorrow, we might hear from him. We might hear about the future of guys like Kennedy and Stratton, etc. So might be later in the week, but you'll definitely be hearing from us as this story continues to evolve. But I know we're roughly about the 1 hour mark, so thanks to everybody that's taking the time to listen. We do appreciate it. Let us know what you think, what you think for the future, what you think the action should be to, maybe you agree with what the board have done. Let us know if that's the case. If you don't, would you be up for action? I think the 4 of us are very much on board with hoping that the protest against the board are increased and a massive amount, but remains to be seen, and I'm sure it will develop as the week goes on. But thanks very much for taking time to listen to 4 Times in a Podcast. I've been Darren, and from Tony, Andy and Danny, we thank you for listening. We'll speak to you later in the week. Hail, hail.